see my cave built in my grave. Come see my...
In this video, I want to provoke thoughts. I want to make you think. Think things that you just wouldn't think normally. It seems irrational to have these thoughts in your mind. But I want to talk about death and self-awareness. Okay, so the first thing is death I want to talk about. Imagine you're on a roller coaster ride, you're already sitting there, you're already in the seat, you are strapped in, you are going on this roller coaster ride, whether you like it or not. That is pretty much birth. Once you are born, you are strapped into that roller coaster and you are going for the ride. There is going to be times of excitement, there's going to be times of, I want to get out of here. There is going to be times of fear, there is going to be times of absolute ecstasy. That roller coaster has to come to an end. Whether it is abruptly stopped because of some sort of malfunction, or you just naturally come to the end of the roller coaster, because no roller coasters are infinite. So you're sitting on this roller coaster and you know that this roller coaster is going to come to that end and it is going to stop and you are going to experience that end, whether you like it or not. Because you can't just jump off the roller coaster. You may ask the question, well, sure, I could throw myself in front of a train. There, I'm off the roller coaster. Well, no, that is all part of the roller coaster and you are going to experience that. You jumping in front of a train, you shooting yourself in the head, whatever, that is not jumping off the train. That is part of the train. You either ride it to the end or you don't. You are going to experience the end, whether it comes halfway through, or whether it comes at the end of the tracks. You probably won't be able to think about it now. You probably just can't sit here whilst watching this and think, oh yeah. But say just whilst you're trying to get to sleep, just think about it, just think, I'm on this roller coaster and it is going to come to an end. I am going to die and I'm going to experience it. And all these people speculating what's going to happen after they die, what's in the afterlife, whether there's a God and all that, it's going to happen to them. They're going to find out whether they like it or not, because this train does come to an end and you are going to experience it. You are watching this, you are going to experience the end of the train, wherever that may be. And like I say, you probably can't really imagine that right now. But just as you're going to sleep, just think about it. Just think, I'm going to find out what's after death. I am going to die, however that might be. And when you just realise that, you get this feeling in your heart, it's a bit like butterflies, it's just this huge realisation, it's like, wow. And you just think, if this roller coaster is going to come to an end, do I really want the rest of the ride? Do I want to be worrying about it? I think if people just understand that this train is going to come to an end and you can either enjoy the ride or you can just wait. You can just wait for the end, just sit there with your eyes closed and stomach the ride instead of enjoying it. I'm not expecting anybody to jump out of their seat and think, wow, I need to enjoy this roller coaster, let's go do some crazy stuff. That's not going to happen. I mean, even though I realise this, I don't really do anything out of the norm. Which sort of leads me on to my next point, in a way, self-awareness. Apparently, humans are the only self-aware beings on the earth, so I have heard. I don't know whether this is proven or anything. But to be self-aware, you know what's going on around you, whereas animals apparently are only controlled by instinct. They feed, they need to sleep, they need to mate, make children. That's all instinct. They do that because it's their instinct. They aren't necessarily self-aware like we are. We can alter whatever we want to do, apparently. But it makes me think, I mean, if we can alter whatever we want to do, why does nobody do it? And that makes me think, maybe we are controlled by instinct. And also, this is something else I want to say. The difference between, I don't know whether you play video games, but the difference between a single player video game and an online game. When you're online, you're playing against loads of different other human beings that are controlling the characters within a server. So basically, the people you're playing against aren't artificial intelligence, they're actually other people on the other end of the line playing against you. Whereas in a single player game, everyone else is controlled by artificial intelligence. They do what their brain is telling them to do. because somebody else told them to. They scripted them. And those artificial intelligence, they're not going to do anything but what they've been told to do. Now, what if you, yes, you watching the YouTube video, what if you were the only self-aware being on the entire earth? I mean, that sounds kind of morbid. I can think, I know I'm self-aware. But that could just be human instinct to believe that you're self-aware. Like, a cat's instinct is to lick its ass a lot of the time. That's just their instinct. Maybe humans' instinct is to act self-aware, and maybe you, yes you, watching the YouTube video are actually the only person who is genuinely self-aware. Maybe me right now, it's just my instinct to create this video. Maybe that is true. I can say I'm self-aware. Maybe I'm sending this video to a bunch of people who reply in instinct, type in instinct, and there's not actually really a soul in there. I don't genuinely believe this, but when you really think about it, you think, wow, if this is true, then it's really quite a lonely place. But then you gotta think, does it really matter? Because say if you really were the only self-aware being on the entire earth, and if everybody else is just reacting with instinct, if their instinct is to act self-aware, then I don't see a problem personally. Because what's the difference? It could actually be a soul in there. And it just makes you think, everything that somebody does is to almost get a reaction from somebody else. People feel sad. They almost think there's a possibility another human, another self-aware being will pick up this emotion and help them with it. And it's sort of like, I think everyone wants that. They want another self-aware being to recognise them. They want them to recognise their feelings, no matter how much they may say they don't. So if you're angry, you don't just want to sit there and be angry. You want to go out there and you want to show the world that you're angry. The same with sadness, the same with glee. You want other self-aware people to pick up that emotion. But if you imagine that you're the only self-aware person, everybody else is literally controlled by instinct, you just think that there's nobody else to pick up that emotion then. That could be the case, and there is no way of proving whether that is true or otherwise. Because it's not like a part of the brain is telling you, okay, you're self-aware, yes. Self-aware. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing in the brain that shows that. And even if there was, it's probably just a scientist. He said, right, I'm not quite sure what this part of the brain does. Let's just call it a self-aware part. Yeah, I don't think there's any way of proving it. If there is, then please correct me. You think, oh, if there's no one else to pick up my emotions, might as well not do anything. What's the point?